Yo, what's up?
Hey, fam.
Hi.
Do something interesting, Huffy. Yeah, we're under the
Yeah,
sea.
we're under the sea, bro.
It's true.
It's the new intro song, guys. Welcome to GuardianCast episode 86, the only Destiny podcast on Mixer. How's it going?
Oh, who lives in a podcast? And we are Mixer. Guardian Cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
how's everybody's week?
Yeah.
Week.
It's really good, dude.
Okay, well, let's just start out with how, there was this big portal being built in the tower, and
Yeah, there was.
yeah,
There's a big
and
old portal.
there was like a
And-
really cool story resolution that happened.
Yeah, there was a huge build-up. They were building, and every week it got a little bigger.
Yeah.
It was really cool, and then they finished it, and it opened, and
Nothing happened.
hey,
The coolest thing is like, oh yeah, me and Zavala went in there a couple of times and we dealt with the thing in there, but yet it doesn't show that it's glowing or active or being used.
I just
Still
don't
looks like it's under
understand how
construction.
like both Bungie and the Destiny community are in this toxic relationship where Bungie is putting stuff out and like knows what the expectations are gonna be, and they're just like, man, this is gonna suck when this gets out there, I guess. And then the Destiny community is so used to being abused, but yet they still expect things to go right and for everything to live up to their expectations. So everybody's just disappointed by the end of it. It's great.
yeah, it's really sad.
Also, other than just the portal, everyone expected the final assault to be something really cool with the Undying Mind, and they were expecting apparently the Imago loop to drop. None of that happened either.
Dude,
Just a
Undying
boss
Mind is
change.
Huge piece of lore. It's a huge throwback, and we got bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, they are saying that this is going to lead to next season. Like, this implication.
Fucking sure.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, I don't know. But I'm just trying to reiterate what
Dude,
they're
I
saying.
can't wait until like all the meme videos playing this summer where they're just talking about how Luke Smith was like, and it's all gonna come together in season 11. The story will be like nothing Destiny has ever seen before, and
Yeah,
it's
dude.
not gonna be anything.
I cannot, with this game that I love and have played for so many years, still feeling like it's an open beta, dude. I can't. It actually feels like a beta because there are like all these things that you can do in it, and there's no reason to do all of them.
Mhm. I get
It's
it.
so bad, dude.
To be fair, this is the first season it's been completely in their hands. Like, we have to give them a little.
I'm not. No. We're
No?
not. This is not a discussion we're ever having again. It's not like, oh, it's Activision. The devs are just not fucking delivering. It's just not happening. They haven't been delivering. They're not delivering now. Shadowkeep was like cool because like there was some newness to it. Like they really kind of like baited us with this Armor 2.0 system. And the Armor 2.0 system provided us this grind that like took time and like consumed a bunch of our materials, but that was the only like game-changing thing we got in Shadowkeep, and it's not enough to make this game as deep or as interesting as it needs to be for it to have any kind of longevity over this year. I think the seasons are showing that they're probably not going to deliver. The fact Reck was talking to me yesterday about the fact that we haven't seen any promotional season content for the next season yet,
Yep.
and it's coming out in what 11 days?
Yeah.
No,
So
it's 18 days.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane. That's scary to me.
How about like what if we just wanted to like set expectations as comically low for next season as we could? Season of the Dawn, right? It's just gonna be the dawning event. That's all. You guys want to bake some cookies?
Yeah, dude.
I'm into baking cookies, dude.
Honestly.
I don't know.
I mean, it's really scary because if they provide the same amount of content for every other season that they did in the main release of Shadowkeep, which they won't, it would still be disappointing. Vex Offensive was scary.
If I wanted to be optimistic which I'm just playing devil's advocate, I don't believe this, but you would say, well, what if, like, since Shadowkeep was like the biggest part of the release, the seasonal content they kept the lightest of all the seasons. That would make sense logically, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying, like, that argument is out there. Like, of course this would be the lightest season out of all of them because you got the DLC content with this one. But I think we're going to get another Vex Offensive.
Is maybe true.
We're going to get another Vex Offensive style event. We're going to get the Dawning event. We're going to get the sandbox changes. And yeah, maybe an exotic or two.
We won't get another dungeon.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely no raid. No.
Yeah, definitely no raid. Definitely no dungeon.
I feel like Eris is going to have some more story shit for us, though. It's kind of weird to leave us hanging the way she did.
The only thing that is up in the air, and I'm just gonna throw Paul Tassi under the bus here. He's been writing that Trials of the Nine is 50-50, or Trials of Osiris is 50-50 next season, and 100% guaranteed the season after that if it doesn't come out next season. So put that one on the record, boys.
That's more wishful thinking than even me. Like, holy shit, that man's high.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. I'm so excited, Paul. Thanks for the news.
Who the fuck is Paul Tassi?
My mind is blown. I'm so hopeful right now.
Paul Tassi makes me look like a skeptic. Jesus.
What a great day it is. 50-50 next season. I can deal with those chances. Let me just flip a fucking quarter right now. Let's figure out if we're going to have trials.
Yeah,
Tails.
Can you imagine Bungie being like,
no trials.
Hey, by the way, the season's coming in 18 days. We have trials planned, and we're not going to say shit? No, dude, they're going to be hyping that up for months. They're going to be like, yo, this summer, trials might come back.
Dude, the only fucking shit that the studio has proved that they're good at in the past year is making badass trailers. So if trials is coming out, there would be trailers galore.
Yeah. And they would have like a dev playing it that like doesn't know how to jump and shoot at the same time.
Yes. So. let's not be totally crass here. Destiny, there were a lot of great changes that came with Shadowkeep. There were a lot of positives for the game this season.
Armor 2.0.
Armor 2.0.
Yeah.
There were some systems changes. There were some economy changes that overall did good things for the game and its longevity. But what we're like beginning to see and like what's beginning to happen is all of us who have been holding out for this game, like holding on for them to get their shit together, waiting for this moment when they were free of tyrannical Activision and they could pursue the game they wanted. Destiny 2 is just not the game we want it to be, and it's not going to be the way we want it to be for a long time.
And I can't like knowingly put out this narrative that I'm hearing for like the 50th time where people say like, well, the reason we're not getting any good content right now and this annual pass is going to be light is because they're working on the next big content drop in September or whenever the next thing is coming out. Like, I can't do it anymore. I've been through that so many goddamn times, and I'll believe it when I see it, and that's what I tell people, you know?
Yeah, and up till this point, you know, we were, the longest time we were able to say, like, oh, they're working on Destiny 2, back in year 3, and then we were like, oh, they're working on the revamp, they're working on the new weapon system, you know, it's whatever. But now we know that Destiny 3, we know that Destiny 2 is at least following a 5-year plan, which... holy crap, that's scary because I don't know if I can play this for 5 years. Like they've always kind of capitalized on this hope for the next big thing, and right now we kind of don't have a lot of hope. So, you know, it's scary. It's scary. I don't know really what to do. I feel for full-time Destiny content creators because I think it's going to be a rough year.
Doing my best, dude.
You know, though, honestly, it's a weird thing, Huffy. Like, we really stuck it out during year 1 of Destiny 2, which was like probably the roughest time, and I felt like there was hope, so it was like different.
Yeah.
But I see people now, like when I look through like the Twitch directory and YouTube and stuff like that, and there is people like a lot different than us. Like there's people who grind out a lot of this PvE stuff that I find pointless like every day, and they just love it. Like they just love like Vex Offensive and getting bow kills on like trash mobs and stuff like that. So
I think there are people that really love raiding, and I think there are people who really love speedrunning strikes, and I think there are people who really love like repeatable facets of the PvE end game. But I don't. I think that and I think we're great friends with a lot of those people, but I don't think that anyone can make the argument that people are satisfied with things like the Vex Offensive. Like talking like from the PvE side, like it's not up to snuff.
No,
like there needs to be shit to grind for. There are no unique drops from the Vex Offensive from this like final wave. Like there's nothing. There's just like no loot grind.
And I'm beating a dead horse, but I mean, I've said a million times, I just don't think it's acceptable to like regress from the menagerie to this.
Yeah, the menagerie was such a...
They were building them alongside each other, like right.
Yeah. I know
at the same time. So what they learned from the menagerie, they didn't have time to implement.
Actually, to be clear, Luke Smith said that it was the rune table thing that they were designing at the same time. I don't know when the Vex Offensive was developed, because that's seasonal content. We really don't know the answer to that question. Either way, I think the bigger problem with Vex Offensive is even if they would have learned the lessons of the menagerie, I don't know if they would have made it as concrete of an event, because it's designed to be disposable. So they're not going to make it like really awesome with all those different like unique encounters when it's just going to go away at the end of the season. I think it presents a unique challenge with that alone. So even going forward with them knowing what they know about the menagerie, I don't think we can expect that kind of content to be developed just to be removed from the game like 90 days later.
Honestly, the menagerie to me was more of a substantial addition to the game than Gambit. If they would just redo the loot table of the menagerie every season and maybe like rework some of the encounters, I could grind the menagerie every season. I could see the menagerie being a solid part of my Destiny experience that I would invest time into. What a great piece of content that is now just like falling to the
dude, I agree. And I actually wonder, like, it seems like it's a lot harder for them to just make loot than I think it is. Because I would think adding new loot would be easier than designing a new event, right? I don't know what goes into those things, but I mean, we're going to talk about this later, but let's just talk about this now. They say that next season is going to feature a reprised set of Destiny or of Iron Banner armor, right? And I'm tired of seeing reprised sets of armors. And it just seems like that is their only choice. Like they have to, because they just don't have the time or resources or whatever. And like, I'm not making excuses, but this is the reality that they're putting out there. And to make things even more disappointing, not that I care about this specifically, somebody said, I hope it's this set, and they posted a Destiny 1 set with the wolf cape and stuff like that. I think it was Hey Fitzy. And DMG, to his credit for transparency, just got in there and said, hey, I just want to set expectations. It's not going to be a Destiny 1 set.
Which is very disappointing because we have access to all the ornaments from...
It's disappointing. It's disappointing, yes, but I'm happy that he was at least honest.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather them not, like let just people find out at the last minute. But, like, we get reprise sets, and then it's like, okay, so you're just giving us the same things we've been getting in Destiny 2 over and over again, and it seems so hard for them to make loot. It's kind of sad. Even just different skins of things. I mean, we're not even talking about unique stats or anything or perks on these armors. It's just different skins.
Yeah.
So a weapon has got to be much more difficult to design.
Yeah. I am sad, but it is what it is. Let's talk about some Twitter stuff really quick.
Sure.
Remember we were talking a couple of weeks ago about how maybe we just texted about this. I don't know if we ever talked about it on GuardianCast. But wish you luck. got a suspension from Twitch
Yeah.
for doing a comp recov on stream, which is
It had to do with his title too, right? Like
Yeah.
it was specifically centered around his title.
Yeah, I mean, he was advertising what he
Right.
was doing,
Yeah.
which, yeah, let's do that. So this is like something that like Bungie has like not taken a stance against, and a lot of the ways they've like taken a stance like.
But this is a Twitch issue though, not a Bungie
Yeah, but this
issue.
is a Twitch issue. Like
Yeah.
Twitch is taking this into their own hands. Like the game developed, there's no pressure from the game devs. This is a streaming platform taking a stance on a specific game issue and punishing streamers for it.
To be clear, almost every game has a clause in their user contract that says you can't share accounts. That's a standard. That's just so you can't blame them if anything happens to your account or anything like that. But Bungie doesn't ban people for it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels weird that happened, and it's happened twice.
To Wish You Luck or somebody else?
To Wish specifically. And now, because of a third offense, there was a guy that like added him on Twitter, who said he added him on Twitter, and added like ADMG and a whole bunch of people from Bungie, and was like, "Hey, this guy is still doing recovs on stream.
Mm-hmm.
Ban him."
Wow.
And yeah, and so he retweeted that tweet and was like, I can't remember what he said. It was nothing. Yeah, it was nothing inflammatory. It was like just like, "Are you serious?" or whatever. And then Twitch saw that he retweeted the tweet, gave him a third strike for harassment, and deleted his channel.
Wow, I didn't know
away his
about that.
partnership.
Wow.
Yeah, that happened today.
Shit.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like about half an hour ago.
It seems like they just don't like him. Like they didn't like him to begin with, you know?
It seems like Twitch actively is like targeting him, like in particular.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a lot. He's definitely like kind of a pillar of the Destiny community. He was like the Trials guy from D1, you know.
I mean, I'm not surprised they have that stance on him because like he's not exactly a beacon of positivity. So like I know
definitely not.
Yeah.
He's definitely a harsh guy.
Yeah.
Being like a person who lives in New York, you know, I get him, you know,
Yeah.
like I honestly, I know the guy. I don't think that he's a like genuinely toxic person. He's like a very harsh and like very honest guy.
Yeah.
And he like talks with a bravado and honesty that is like offensive, you know. But you know, I think it's unfortunate to see that happen. And I think that is like another, you know, he's like another content creator. Michael just noted that he's coming to Mixer now from the Destiny directory that's moving to Mixer. Like Twitch, specifically the Destiny directory on Twitch, taken some big hits. Githalion moving, I was like a huge thing, and now that some other people are starting to move over, I think it's going to be a really interesting thing to watch the Destiny directory over the next few months.
Yeah, and
Don't tell me that.
not. I mean, things are happening. It's not just the Destiny directory. There's a lot of things happening with Twitch in general. And I'm not saying like Mixer is the answer to everybody's problems, but there is a shift happening. I don't think Twitch is necessarily making the right moves to maintain their status as like the streaming platform. Traditionally, they like I think I saw at the end of Q3 of 2019, Twitch was still 76% of viewership. I think you're going to see that shift and diversify into other platforms over the next year. Like I will be very surprised if Twitch is still like above 50% this time next year.
I agree. I think they're going to like maintain majority. I think they're going to be the largest streaming platform on the internet for the foreseeable future. But I think their monopoly is over. I think what we're going to begin seeing on streaming platforms in the near future is we're going to see a concentration of communities. I think that the Twitch, like just chatting community, and a lot of the Twitch, like especially like CS and things like League, those really solid communities. I think we're going to see those thrive on Twitch. I think that we're going to see niche communities and even like large communities find their homes on other platforms. I think that Mixer might end up being the place for first-person shooters. I think Halo is going to be huge on Mixer,
Yeah.
and I think that especially maybe Halo Infinite is
Yeah.
going to be giant with Shroud over there. Things are going to be like giant on the FPS 3PS spectrum. And then I think places like DLive are gonna like pick up things like DLive has like very specific stances on like weed and drug use that allow for like
Okay.
more ambitious kind of streams to be had on that platform in that regard. And so I think what we're going to see is like specific communities gravitating towards specific platform, and we're going to have a lot of apps on our phone.
I think that Mixer is diving into like not like discouraging it, but they're not really going for the IRL style market. Like I think Twitch is trying to diversify away from just video games, and Mixer is trying to say like we're the place for video games. You know what I mean? So because I think that there's like two different audiences out there that are kind of like there's people who want to watch games that are frustrated with like how come I come to Twitch and like some of the top channels are people just like laying on their bed eating a bowl of cereal. You know what is that? And then you know I think Mixer just kind of wants to be more like hey this is where you can watch people play games, and Microsoft is making moves to grab some gamers out there. So
Yeah,
we'll see what
I
happens
agree.
with that.
I think that for people who are like streaming right now, I think that there is like a big choice to be made about like what kind of streamer you want to be and like maybe where you should put your eggs right now, because I think that you know now is a time where you can sow a lot of like very good seeds on very ripe soil on other platforms, and I think that it just depends on
If
what
you're
kind of
just
streamer you want to
starting
be.
out, I think you should not be thinking about starting on Twitch unless you have like a really good reason for it.
I
And that
disagree unless I mostly agree. I think that if you want to be the kind of streamer that like embodies like a Twitch streamer, that you shouldn't be disqualified. You shouldn't be discounted by the competition. You should say like, okay, I want to be a streamer that like is like half good, just chatting, half gaming. Like the platform for you, it's Twitch, and like yeah, there's a lot of competition there, but like that's your platform. Like end game, you're going to have more success there.
I don't know what the landscape is on Facebook, so I would think that that actually has like a decent just chatting type situation as well.
Facebook is has a lot of things going for it. The best thing it has going for it is engagement. Users are like, if you look at the stats, they engage more on Facebook than any other platform. That's like kind of what it's for. As far as like end game, you know, like it's for it's like a financial end game on Facebook. That's something that's very difficult.
Mm. Yeah, but I would say to people though, like I do think if you're just getting started streaming and you're looking at Twitch, like it's a lot more difficult of a hill to climb than it would have been 2-3 years ago. And
I
unless you have
agree.
something really unique, that it's probably not the best choice to jump in there. I'm just saying, like, it's a lot harder decision to make if you're somebody who has an established community, and I totally get that, to make a move. But if you're just starting out, I think that there is probably better options, especially if you want to stream video games. And I'm not just saying everybody go to Mixer. That's not the
Yeah.
message I'm putting out there, but I do think that the Twitch saturation is going to make it a challenge for you unless you're putting something out there that nobody else is doing.
Yeah. I can say from just like my experience with like content diversification and growing and understanding like virality and how virality converts into viewership. If you are looking for the most straightforward path of content to like growing yourself, doing a combination of streaming and making videos on YouTube is probably the best way to go, because that's the easiest conversion of viewership. It's really important to get your content out in a lot of different forms. One of the most important forms to get your content out is video content through YouTube, and then channeling that content onto your social. If you are able to start making videos on YouTube and then like stream off the subscribers you gain from that, that is the most straightforward conversion that you can possibly get, which makes YouTube a very, very, very solid choice.
All right, so let's
if
talk.
You like making videos.
Yeah. Let's talk. And by the way, even if you don't like making videos, you probably need to get into making videos and doing other things on other social media platforms anyway to bring attention. It's just like hitting the go live button every day is not going to get people to show up.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about these sandbox changes coming.
We're actually going to talk about Destiny? Holy shit, let's go, dude.
Yeah, we should call this Streamcast.
All right, so we got some new stuff coming. We're finally getting the solar subclass adjustments that we have been waiting for a very long time. And man, I actually can't believe this. I never thought I'd see the day, but there's a throwing knife buff coming.
What a great thing.
Right? Like, I really just thought this was going to be a non-starter, because I've been asking for 2 years, and it's didn't seem like it was ever going to be a thing. But let's just talk about the changes that they're bringing in. So first of all, the 3-shot golden gun is going to change a little bit, the super itself, to where at long ranges they're increasing the aim assist and accuracy while aiming down sights to just buff that one in PvP a little bit and give you like a little more of a reason to use it. Yeah.
That's so solid.
And the 6-shot is going to have a damage fall off so that it's more of like an up close and personal run and gun style. And since you get refunded on the kill, one of your shots anyway, I don't see that being a huge deal.
Yeah.
On top of that, the other thing with the top tree is that explosive knife, instead of just being an explosive knife, is now going to be an explosive prox knife. It's going to stick to surfaces like a trip mine, and then when people walk by it, it's going to explode. My only question is, like, how is it going to be any different than a trip mine? Do you think it's going to be the exact same thing, essentially?
No, I mean, it's definitely going to do less damage, for sure. The great thing...
So you think you just, like, trip mine, and then a throwing knife, so they walk through both of them and die?
I mean, dude, that's sick if you can do that.
Right.
That's super sick. But yeah, I mean, I guess the throwing knife, you get the... If you hit someone with that throwing knife, it still does shit. Whereas you can't
the trip mine will just fall off them.
yeah, the trip mine it doesn't stick to people anymore. So that's the main difference. It's versatile.
Yeah, there you go.
I would be really interested to see if a trip mine and a knife gives you a one-hit kill. That is OP and hilarious.
It's probably like smoke, where it like bothers you at most if it explodes near you.
Well, that would be unfortunate because it doesn't slow you down like smoke or blind you or anything like that. So that would be really bad if it just tickles you like that.
Maybe it does like fire damage, like, damage over time.
I don't know how you could make that fit thematically, just because you have to trap somebody with it, so they have to walk through it. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, okay, so it did like nothing. They can still see. They still have full control of their character. And if they can get away, I don't know. Like, I think it has to do a substantial amount of damage, personally. I think that there has to be some payoff for, like, pulling that off. Not that it has to one-hit kill them or, like, even close to that, but I think it needs to probably do over 50 damage, at least.
Yeah.
At least. Like, maybe 90 damage, like the other precision throwing knife did before. That would be fair, I think.
Only time will tell.
All right. So the goals of the way the sharpshooter, they wanted to make it seem more rewarding to land precision shots. the weighted throwing knife is the new thing, the new good. It is going to be able to one-hit kill in PvP.
Did you say the new good?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be
Just wanted
awesome.
to point that out. No, that's fine. Go ahead. Keep going.
The trade-off is going to be that you have to wind it up and charge it to make it one-hit kill, so it'll be higher velocity. The big question is, like, how long is that charge up going to take? And how much velocity is it going to add? Because the question I have is, on mouse and keyboard, when you're charging this thing up, is it going to make it fast enough that you can actually land the shot? Because at the speed that it goes right now, it's like practically freaking impossible to land a shot with a throwing knife. So hopefully with the higher velocities, you can actually aim it and it not be impossible to land. And also, I hope controller doesn't have a huge advantage with aim assist. That's my big concern.
I mean, as far as aim assist goes, controller always has the advantage. So
No, they don't always have the advantage. Not with every weapon. Like, mouse and keyboard has like significantly more accuracy with a lot of weapons. But I just hope that it's not just like a cheesy one-hit kill for controllers and something that's like borderline unusable for mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. It's interesting how that, like, yeah, he doesn't mean like aim assist as in like have better aim assist.
Right.
Like, he means aim assist in the way that like people on controller in Halo and like MCC right now are getting like are just like jumping around 5-tapping people while everybody on M and K is like, oh my god, how do you do this shit?
Especially then like the input delay, it makes it so much worse.
Dude, if they fix the input delay, that's gonna be so solid, but it's so painful watching Summit, like M&K, like try to 5-tap people.
Did you see my video about it? Like, that's all I talked about for a lot of it.
How many monitors has Summit gone through playing that?
But dude, like, the funny thing is, I watched this video this morning about Master Chief Collection on M&K, and this guy was like, I actually prefer playing the social playlist with Bloom on mouse and keyboard, because then at least the controllers can't automatically 5-tap me every time because the Bloom stops them from being accurate.
So funny, dude.
I'm like, oh my god, so the RNG bullets is like balancing it for mouse and keyboard. Like, that's fucking so ridiculous. I can't even believe this. So they need to have that shit fixed by December 3rd. the input latency at the very least. But I've been asking for them to reduce the aim assist, and I don't know if that's going to happen because Postum's put out this thing, and he said, we're open to doing that, but it'll close the door to crossplay. So, like, what do you guys want? You know?
Yeah, we want crossplay, and we want if the mouse and keyboard feels...
Right.
If mouse and keyboard feels native...
Yeah.
It won't be a problem.
Right, exactly.
It won't be a problem. If mouse and keyboard does not feel native, and it doesn't feel native. Right.
So what do you think about the wind-up throwing knife? Like, do you think it's going to be a super competitive option? You think it's going to be kind of a meme, or what?
It's interesting. I think that it's going to be a very... It's a good question. I can think of specific...
So this is my big thing is like, traditionally how you've used a throwing knife is one tap with the hand cannon, throw the throwing knife to finish them off, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a completely different cadence with having to wind it up. You're not going to want to use it in the middle of the gunfight, right? So
I think it's going to be a strong opener.
Right. So if you're going into a group of people, then you want to take out one and then start primarying the others.
Yeah, if you're going into a group of people, or if you're like at the start of a match, say on like Javelin 4, it'll be the great opener to like throw a throwing knife over that middle little area into Rockwall.
Yeah, so because like then it would be like you wouldn't have to expose yourself. Unlike a sniper rifle opening shot, you could just kind of lob it. So that's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
The only thing I hope is it doesn't get used in the same way as handheld Supernova. Like, I just don't want to be, oh, let's run away behind a corner, charge it up, and wait for them to come through the doorway. Like, if that is the primary use of it, it's going to just make throwing knife not feel like...
I mean, it will be used for that. It's going to be, like, a very strong, like, kind of RNG counter to like people rushing you, like
But you're gonna have to hit the headshot to take them out.
yeah, it's gonna be like a difficult play. So I don't think it's gonna be anywhere near as frustrating as handheld because handheld is not a skill shot.
Yeah.
And there's not like RNG involved. It's like if you are in this proximity, you're dead. So it's definitely not gonna have that same annoyance. It's gonna be really frustrating, I think, during survival. Especially like slower survival games because there are so many openings of matches where like you and your team have to come through a choke point, and I think we're gonna see a lot of like COD style knives like flying into doorways, and I'm really kind of excited for it. I think it's gonna be funny to just like watch the start of matches, like 3 people running into their first engagement, just like getting instantly taken out by throwing knives. I'm really excited for that.
So aside from just the throwing knives, I'm actually excited for these other 3 perks because I am a huge fan of neutral perks that actually just help like guns. Like I like gunfights rather than just like all ability style subclasses. So it's going to be cool to see some of this. Practice makes perfect is getting a quality of life adjustment where it's going to last longer but give a little bit less super energy per second. So a precision hit is going to grant 2 stacks. I believe practice makes perfect. It doesn't that also like help your stability, or is that Chain of Woe? It's Chain of Woe, isn't it?
I think it's Chain of Woe.
Yeah. Knock 'em down is going to now affect weapon stability, and it's reload. That's right. Yeah. Knock 'em down is going to affect weapon stability and aim down sight speed, which is going to be really cool. So the Gunslinger is actually going to be able to like swap weapons and ADS fast for a change. Can you imagine that? Gunslinger having gun perks. Wow.
Imagine.
So I'm really excited about that. And then also, if you have stacks of Knock 'em down, apparently it's going to buff the damage of your super, which is going to make for interesting things to happen because say you get a precision kill and you hear somebody like pop their hammers and then you like pop your golden gun to take them out, you might actually get a big enough buff that you don't have to hit a headshot to kill that hammer, which is going to make things kind of interesting. You know what I mean? Line 'em up is going to it looks like just create extra orbs of light if you kill people with precision, which I'm not a fan of orbs of light in the Crucible, so
same.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Same.
But I think Golden Gun makes one of the smallest orbs of light anyway, so maybe it won't be a big deal. I think it gives like the tiny orbs. All right. Anything you guys want to talk about? Anything else to do with these Golden Gun changes here? Or?
I think that Golden Gun is like very likely to see itself right against Bottom Tree Arcstrider. And I think Bottom Tree Golden Gun is likely to see itself right against Bottom Tree Arcstrider, depending on how the explosive wall throwing knife goes for like the meta hunter subclass.
That would be the top tree, the explosive one.
Oh, sorry, top tree. Yeah. I'm super interested to see how this plays out.
So you don't think the weighted throwing knife is going to be meta choice? You think it's going to be the explosive trapping one?
Yeah, it depends on how that stacks with Trip Mine. The amount of damage that does is going to be huge because they essentially now have like the one thing Golden Gun is the one thing Golden Gun has never really had is a CC. Even Trip Mine doesn't like effectively CC because of how counterable it is.
It's also going to depend how long it takes to detonate. If it detonates like in 5 seconds, it's not going to be that good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. We'll see. What do you think? Do you think more people are going to be using the weighted?
I think that all of those other perks are going to make the bottom tree the better choice. The weighted being like a good positive, but not like the soul defining thing. I think People are going to like how the super works a lot better with bottom tree. It's just going to have more consistent long range kills, which is great for Golden Gun.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to get in people's face with the other one, and with no damage resistance, you're probably just going to get babied like all the time. So I think the super will be better on bottom tree, and I think that a lot of these neutral game perks are going to make people want to run bottom tree, personally. I hope top tree sees some play too, and I want to see some interesting stuff with that trapper perk. I'm going to flip back and forth between the two of them and see what I like, but I'm excited to try both of them. Like, I've always been a huge fan of Gunslinger, and it's made me sad that it's just been so bad for like over a year that it's been nearly impossible to use, especially on PC.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to not have to use Arcstrider. Oh, and there's something else to keep in mind here too, and I'm actually a little bit worried about this. There's going to be solar artifact mods, which is probably going to make these two things even stronger than this, whatever they end up doing.
Yeah. It's going to be terror if those solar artifact mods buff new gunslinger abilities, and then we'll see what happens. If the last word catalyst drops anytime soon, I'm kind of scared.
Woo!
I'm very scared of the last word catalyst with Golden Gun specifically.
For the audience, just so you know, unless they change this, because it's been in the database for a long time, the last word catalyst is going to have a perk where immediately after switching to your last word from the other weapon, it'll provide a short-term damage buff. So, like, you switch from a sniper onto that, and you might be able to, like, two-tap somebody to the head. I'm hoping it only works from the hip.
That would be nice. If you could, like, 3-tap from the hip instead of 4.
Well,
like,
you can technically 3-tap from the hip right now.
Yeah, but not body shot. I'm talking like...
Oh, body shot.
Traditionally, yeah.
Yeah. That would make sense. And I'd be okay with a 2-tap head tap from the hip, because they'd have to be pretty close. Like,
yeah.
I just don't want people ADSing, because, like, sometimes that gets wonky, and, like, I see it do, like, almost full damage from, like, the same range that I use my Thorn sometimes, and it just confuses me. Like, honestly, it confuses the shit out of me.
It has almost the same range
as
your Thorn.
I know. It makes no sense.
Last word should not have the range that it does right now. It's fucked up.
Actually, other hand cannons should just have better range than it does, and I think the last word should have like a more linear curve, so instead of it just being like it does like full damage up to this range and then aggressively falls off, it just needs to like linearly scale with how how much damage it does at further ranges.
I understand what they're trying to do with the ranges of guns, and I think that this shortened range of hand cannons and like the extended range of like the other weapons makes a lot of sense in a game where people can't shoulder charge you from like 15 feet away, like because of bullet magnetism.
Right.
Like, it would make sense if you didn't instantly die if you were like beside somebody, but there are so many like one-hit kill like abilities from like a pretty small proximity, you know, or like a pretty large proximity around your Guardian, that it doesn't make sense for you to have to get that close to use hand cannon.
I'm gonna be honest though, like even though like I see a lot of comments in the chat about the last word range, I hear you guys, but I'm gonna say I think Thorn is the more competitive option right now because there is a lot of utility that gets overlooked. The damage over time lets you track them for a few seconds after you hit them, and the annoying screen effect that it puts on the other player really throws them off a lot more than you think it does, honestly. And if Thorn gets its catalyst next season, it's plus 20 range, or plus 30 range, plus 20 stability, so that's going to be a nightmare too.
That'll be fun.
Yep. Sweet. Well, y'all are cute.
Dude, are you ditching?
Oh my god, I thought you froze. Like, holy shit. You were like...
Oh, y'all are cute.
Okay. I was like, damn, dude, he's a statue. What happened to my computer? What do you think of Burning Maul?
Nah.
I don't think much of it. I mean, so it's banned from sweats, so I don't really care.
Okay.
What happens to
I'm worried about the biggest change that I'm worried about is the verticality. I don't like that. The fact that it's going to kill people in even higher elevations
Yeah, the
from
tracking
that
mode's already
long of a
dumb, and
distance,
then
dude.
that, yeah.
Yeah, it already does that a lot. I mean, it's going to be a terror. People are going to be running it.
And also there's a throwing hammer damage buff. That's a thing.
Didn't need to happen.
Yeah, I'm not getting killed by him a lot, but I'm just like putting
Yeah,
that out there.
I don't
That's
really
a thing.
care about the throwing hammer damage
Yeah.
buff. It'll just matter with those one gauntlets. Like people will be running that stupid worm god gauntlet build. I can't remember what they're called more.
The one where you throw the
Worm
hammer
God
against the wall
Caress,
and
yeah.
you lose.
It's where if you get a kill, then basically your next throwing hammer is a cheesy one-shot kill.
Yeah.
And so finally, I have to put this out there. Dawnblade's getting another buff, boys. Just what it needed. I mean, I'm kind of being facetious because Burst Glide is getting nerfed, so that bottom tree Dawnblade is not going to be as annoying as it is now because they can't fly all over the map. But the top tree is getting a lot of neutral game stuff where the new Heat Rises thing is going to let you consume a grenade to extend your glide time and reduce in-air accuracy penalty for weapons. So you're actually going to see a lot of those Dawnblades being able to like get in-air snipes and stuff like that. But I think that is a fair trade-off, man. You got to eat a grenade to do that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a pretty niche thing. You got to work for that. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm happy with the Dawnblade changes. I think the only thing that made Dawnblade OP was its unintended crazy speed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That they were like, oh, we broke something, but people like it, so let's do that.
Which you'll still be able to go that fast, but you have to use Icarus Dash now, and it'll eat some of your super, and you won't be on bottom tree, so you won't be able to like extend it by getting kills. So it's not going to last forever. You got to make a choice now. You want to be super fast, or do you want it to last longer?
Yeah, I think the meme of would you like a seventh column play Dawnblade is finally going to end, and I'm stoked about that.
Same. And that is it for the sandbox changes. We didn't go through everything line by line. You should read the TWAB if you want to know absolutely everything, but I think that's the overarching themes. Solar stuff is getting adjusted. I'm excited about those sandbox changes, and there is other changes they say coming to some non-solar subclasses that will be in the full patch notes. So I'm curious to see what those are going to be too.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about the biggest thing in the TWAB.
What?
The Destiny cookbook.
I'm done.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you.
I want it so bad.
Shout out to Vendetta for winning Movie of the Week, by the way, too.
Yeah, let's go, Vendetta.
Hey,
real though, like Destiny cookbook.
on a last non-Destiny related point, did you guys see what a fail Google Stadia was?
Oh my god, Google Stadia.
Pretty sad. I mean, not even just like performing badly, it just doesn't fucking work. Gamers Nexus tried to review it and said, we legitimately just couldn't get it working.
That's
okay.
Bad.
Yeah, it sucks, but they are investing in something that I really do believe will be the future. It sucks that it doesn't work, but they're putting in good effort now.
But dude, they rushed it to market and they said, pre-order it to register your fucking name. Their name thing, they actually put marketing out there that said it's a unique time in history where you get to register a unique name on a new platform. A unique time in history? What is this, the fall of Rome, dude? Like, it's not a fucking unique time in history to register a fucking username. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. You have to pre-order to do it?
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. I'd like to be Huffy 20 years from now, but I'm sure as hell not going to buy a Stadia today.
20 years from now, man. You'll be lucky if this thing's around in 6 months.
No, I honestly think that I honestly believe that game streaming is the future. I don't know what company is going to have like the monopoly on game streaming, but when the technology is there, I mean, it's already there on
This
our
project,
phones.
this product was clearly rushed to market. I mean, they're not
Yes,
ready.
no, I agree, but we're
Yeah.
talking about more than a game system. We're talking about the future of gaming and
Mhm.
game streaming, like people not having to download things, people being able to access a title at the click of a button, like instantaneously. Like that is where we're headed.
Yeah. I did see some testing from PCGamer.com. I don't know if they got a special copy of it or something that works. But wow, Eddie. Yeah. But they said that they showed like some stats from both Destiny 2 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. For Destiny 2, the latency was about double in 1080p and like 133% more latency in 4K. For Google Stadia, and then for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it was like 4 times as much latency. So that's not as big a deal though, because that's not like a competitive thing. So they're just going for visuals in that game. So I kind of get that. But
Still a lot of
the latency exists. Just saying, it's about, and it's like for Destiny, it's like 160 milliseconds.
Yikes.
Yeah, and for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it was like 280 or something. It was bad.
That's like unplayable.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't. That's not good.
Yep. So, sorry.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's the future of gaming. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. It'll be there one
I
day.
mean,
Don't
like you
don't
said,
pre-order
there's
it.
a lot of hope for it, though. I mean, it really is what the future of gaming should be, but right now it's just not good.
Yeah, hopefully Project X Cloud goes a little bit better.
Yeah.
At launch.
I don't know, dude. I'm not. I think maybe in 5 years.
I agree. I don't think the
Amazon's jumping
technology
into
is
this too
there.
now.
It's not. And even if they got that technology there, it's still dependent on fiber optic cable.
Yeah.
So if you don't have fiber internet,
Right. So hopefully in 5 years, it's just like wireless networks are so powerful that fiber optic internet is not necessary.
yeah, it would be that's like I guess optimal because honestly, the infrastructure for like
Too
laying,
expensive.
yeah, it just doesn't make sense and just too time consuming.
All right. Well, we love you guys. Thanks for being here this week. Don't forget to
Love you so
share
much.
this with everybody. You know,
Yeah.
your
Please
mom, your cousin, your dog,
Yeah.
whatever.
Send me your mom.
What episode is this?
86.
Episode 86.
Get it out of here.
You guys are awesome. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Later, y'all.